What's going on, everybody? This is going to be a quick review for the Hunter x Hunter movie, Phantom Rouge, one of the two Hunter x Hunter movies that exist. So after catching up with the anime and finishing the manga, I feel like I should finish whatever media is left to consume of Hunter x Hunter that there is, just to fill that small void in my heart that's becoming larger and larger with the longer and longer it takes to continue the story, if it will ever be continued. The movies, I guess, are scripted and created just by the anime staff themselves and don't have any input from Yoshihiro Togashi. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but regardless, a lot of anime do this. A lot of anime just kind of come up with their own movies that aren't canon, that are just kind of like fun little one-off experiences, but that don't really fit into the narrative of the show. I, of course, grew up on Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z has a ton of movies, all of which are not really canon. There's a few that you can kind of like smush in somewhere if you try really, really hard to, but on the most part that it's just not canon whatsoever. Also, a lot of the DBZ movies are absolute crap, and they're just repetitive nonsense, and they're basically like the generic idea of what you would think DBZ is if you've never really watched DBZ. You know, big bad guy shows up, heroes fight the bad guy and fail, then Goku shows up and does the spirit bomb, and then it's all said and done. So I was expecting something along that line. When it came to the Hunter x Hunter movie, I thought it was just going to be something, you know, very one-off and one-note and very bland and generic, and a lot of people would say that this movie is that. I, however, am going to say that I actually really enjoyed this movie, and I saw through that, and I think basically that was because of like what I was set up to expect. I was expecting something like a one-off DBZ non-canon movie that just really just doesn't make any sense whatsoever and is just bland and boring. But this I actually think had some good things going for it. For the most part, I think the animation is top-notch. It's absolutely fantastic. The animation is great. You know, it's very vibrant. The colors really pop off the screen. The animation is very fluid. The fighting is very fluid. It looks really good. It also deals with all of the main characters. So you get to see Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio all together, and just something about that really just brings joy to my heart. Whether or not it has any like lasting impact or not, which this movie doesn't as far as the series is concerned, but it's just nice seeing them all together, all kind of working and towards the same goal, because as the series goes on, as you know, we get less and less of that, and the more of seeing these characters together really brings warmth to my heart, and I definitely enjoyed seeing it. It also deals heavily with Kurapika and his backstory, which I just read the manga version of that, and this adapts it pretty well. It takes bits and pieces out, but for the most part you get the same gist, the same idea, so that part of it is canon. And going with canon, so if you don't know, canon would mean like actually part of the story, a legitimate part of the story. I'm actually surprised with the amount of effort that they put into this movie with actually making it fit into Hunter x Hunter. Now, it doesn't actually fit. There is no place to really put this movie. But from where sort of the movie takes place, they don't seem to contradict anything that happens in the series. They try really hard to make it make sense the whole way through, which I actually really appreciated about it. That's something that you don't see in a lot of anime movies, because a lot of anime movies that take their inspiration from a series, they basically just make up their own thing and do their own thing with it and don't bother how it contradicts anything that happens in the show. This doesn't really contradict anything. So technically this movie would take place after the York New City arc and before the Greed Island arc. And the only reason that this movie can't take place is because we see our characters, Gon and Killua, as soon as that arc is over, they go and get the Greed Island game and enter into the game. There's no break where they would separate and then reconnect with Leorio and Kurapika, so it doesn't fit. So technically the movie is not canon. However, barring that, it still holds up to everything that happened prior in the series and doesn't contradict anything that happens later in the series, which I really appreciated about this. So in this, you're in that moment where Chrollo is still off, you know, with his Nen dagger in his heart, so he's not part of the Phantom Troop. You also get Gon and Killua. They haven't, you know, mastered their Nen abilities yet, so Gon can't do the Jajanken yet, and Killua can't do the his electricity, his Godspeed yet. So all of that has yet to happen. So they did a really good job with that, and I definitely thought that was one of the better aspects of this movie. But also because of that, because they don't contradict anything, they can't really do anything too major or too epic that would screw up anything in the timeline that happens later. So instead of doing that, that they basically come up with this villain that can recreate puppets of dead people or even alive people that are alive. Omukage is the name of the villain, and he is apparently a member of the Phantom Troop before Hisoka took his place. So he was the number 4 Phantom Troop member before Hisoka defeated him and took his place, but come to find out, Hisoka only defeated another puppet that the guy created, so a puppet version of himself, and then he went off and did whatever he was doing, kind of like hanging around in a church. I don't really know. But the point is, so basically what they did was they took all of these Phantom Troop members and other people that we've seen before, like they bring back Uvojin, but as a puppet. So it's not really Uvojin, but we get to see Uvojin there. We get to see him power up. We get to see him fight Gon and Killua, which is really cool. So like that's the thing. Like, so you have to be either okay with like this is just a fan service fun thing, or you're gonna get mad that this is not canon and doesn't fit into the series. So whatever side that you're on is kind of where you're gonna fall with your enjoyment of this movie. I just kind of took it for what it was, and I thought it was gonna be way worse than what it was. So I think for me, it definitely became better because of that. So yeah, Uvojin shows up, and it's not really Uvojin. It's just a puppet version of him, but it is cool to see him. It's nicest to see him. It's cool to see him interact with Gon and Killua that we didn't get to see in the York New City arc. We see very briefly other Phantom Troop members show up. Nobunaga, we get to see a little bit more of him in this movie, do a couple of cool things. Machi shows up, and the others show up, but you really don't get to get much out of it. But again, they can't really do anything that would contradict the series, so you can't have the actual Phantom Troop members fight Kurapika, or Kurapika uses chain jail on them, because that would screw up what would happen further in the anime series, so you can't have that happen. So nothing of substantial importance happens. It's really just a one-off, just for fun kind of thing, but in that aspect, I thought they did a really good job, and I definitely appreciated the movie. They also dive into Killua quite a bit in this film, which I also did appreciate. The opening flashback with him and Illumi was really, really cool. Basically, you know, Illumi planting these ideas in his head to make him feel inadequate and whatnot. Only later in the series do we find out he actually planted something in Killua's head. But we can't get into that in this movie because it would contradict him finding that out later. But we get kind of a tease of it. It's basically kind of, I wouldn't say a retelling, but it's basically a tease of, you know, Killua feeling like he's not enough. Killua feels like he's doing the wrong thing, like he's betraying Gon because he can't be as powerful as he wants to be because he's still kind of ruled by fears. So they throw all that in there, and it's cool, it's fun to see, but again, they delve into it in way more detail in the actual anime series, and you can't really get too into it in the movie because, again, it would contradict what's happened in the series. Which, you know, it surprises me. I wonder why they just didn't do their own different thing with the movie, you know? I mean, I really do like that they put the effort in to try to make this as canon as possible. It sucks that it's actually not, because you can't really fit it in anywhere where this could have happened, but like I said, it doesn't contradict anything, so yeah, you just go ahead and have fun with it. Anyways, I enjoyed the movie, I had fun with it. Maybe I'm just really starved for Hunter x Hunter content, so I'm going to enjoy anything. I don't know what it is, but let me know what you guys think. If you've seen the movie Phantom Rouge, down below in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, if you liked that they tried to make it canon, or if you would have preferred them to just really do their own thing and go crazy with it and make whatever they wanted. So let me know what you guys think down below. Thanks as always for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Happy New Year, happy 2020, and hopefully good things will happen this year. So thanks for watching.